The ADTI Media Sky Panel can be configured to play media supplied by a third-party media player, such as the BrightSign HD illustrated here. Connecting the player to the Sky Panel Sign video controller is a simple procedure and involves connecting the HDMI output port of the player from its enclosure to the Master Video Distribution PCA within the master data enclosure. With the power to the sign disabled, open the master data enclosure. Locate the HDMI video connection between the Raspberry Pi and the Master Video Distribution PCA. Disconnect the cable at the Master Video Distribution PCA. Following the instructions provided earlier in this tutorial, remove the connector and weatherproofing insert from the cord grip used with the master to extender cable, and add the HDMI cable to be used with the third-party media player. Connect the cable to the HDMI input port on the Master Video Distribution PCA. Close the master data enclosure. The next step is to set up the sign to display the content supplied by the player. This process is identical to that performed when setting up the sign to play content from the Raspberry Pi. Power up the sign and enter sign control. Go to the Status Config display page. The settings in the HDMI configuration section determine how the HDMI input signal is interpreted and displayed on the sign. When the automatic setting is selected, the full content of the 1080p video signal is displayed on the sign. The content is scaled so that as much of the full image as possible is displayed. Depending on the sign's aspect ratio, cropping of the content may occur. When using SkyShow with this setting, all content that is not 1920 by 1080 will be dynamically scaled to that size when displayed. When the custom setting is selected, you can specify exactly what portion of the input video signal is displayed on the sign. The following values must then be specified. Content top left, X. The top left X coordinate of the location in the input video signal where the content to be displayed resides. Coordinates 0, 0 represent the top left corner of the input video signal. The bottom right corner of a 1080p video signal would be 1919, 1079. The content top left Y. The top left Y coordinate of the location in the input video signal where the content to be displayed resides. The content width. The width of the content starting at top left XY from the input video signal that is to be displayed on the sign. And finally, content height. The height of the content starting at top left XY from the input video signal that is to be displayed on the sign. All of this and much more is explained in detail in the help for this page. One final note with regards to integrating a third-party media player. It is assumed that the customer has obtained a suitable enclosure for the player, mounted it to the sign, and has provided a cable of sufficient length. It is beyond the scope of this tutorial to provide instructions on setting up content on the third-party player. Consult the instructions provided with the player. The player should be configured to output video in the 1080p60 format.